Welcome to Inspired by JimmyL, a podcast that inspires freedom through authenticity. Take our shows and use them, honey. Use them to listen to your gut, your intuition, and allow them to give you the courage to be free in every area of your life. We believe that success and happiness is a personal thing. Now redefine it on your terms. This show is designed to give you practical tips from realistic people who have decided to no longer keep up with the Joneses. Now, your intuition is your roadmap, but this show is here to give you more courage to simply listen. And to add, we are not pleading for ratings and reviews, but please be sure to subscribe and share every single show if you are inspired. I'm your host, Jimmy Warmize. Now let's get into the show.
So how do you lead your team? I mean, because obviously, according to you, which I agree with, but I understand it's far more, the negative has far more of the attention than the positive aspects of most leaders. So how do you lead your team? Like, what are some keys that you use to lead your team or your staff?
Well, I do have a series of franchisees that I lead, and I have a small staff within the office. It's not this, bursting at the seams corporate empire. And then there are certainly members within the organization, but you really have to kind of make it about them. And if you help the people, Zig Ziglar is saying, if you help enough other people be successful, you have anything you want. If you help enough people be successful. And I try to subscribe to that. I don't want to say I do because that's, I don't know if I do or I don't, but I try. I try to help other people. And whenever I encounter somebody, whenever we encounter somebody, as humans, we're stuck in this survival mode. We grew up, we didn't have, 100,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 20,000, we didn't have what we have today.
Absolutely.
You need a glass of water, you go to the faucet. Back then, you needed a glass of water. You had to walk down the stream and hope you didn't get eaten by a bear, right?
But speaking of the water situation, I was sitting in Walgreens the other day, and I was like, who knew you had 30,000 different options for what type of water to buy? So just coming from the well is a whole other thing. Yes, it's water.
Yeah. But anyhow, we're stuck in this survival mindset, and that's what our brains are hardwired to do. So whenever we encounter somebody, our brains immediately say, how can this person help me?
Okay.
That's what our brain, what can I get from this person? And that's totally natural. And what I tell people to be successful, to be that great leader, is to push beyond that first question. Because be honest, 95% of the people you encounter can't do anything for you. Right? But 100% of the people push beyond the first question and ask the second question. And the second question is this: how can I help this person? How can this person help somebody I know? And I guarantee you that 100% of the time you'll have a yes answer to that. I can help this person by connecting them to this person. I can help this person by getting them this article I just read. So if you're willing to push beyond that first question and start to look at that, kind of get in that habit of answering that question, you'll always walk away from meeting people or dealing with people with something that you can help them with. And that's what I try to do. I don't know that I do it all the time because it's not natural. But whenever I meet somebody or whenever I work with somebody, I'm listening. Okay, how can I help this person? Yeah, there might be something there that I need, but I know if I help them, then it makes it much easier for me to ask. And so that's in leading people on my team or just people in general and leading myself, I try and really kind of go through that mindset. How can I help this person?
So, and how long have you been in networking?
I've been in networking my whole life. We've all networked our whole life. No, but I know what your question is.
Professionally.
Well, my quick story is I live in Columbus, Ohio. I came here to go to law school. I have a law degree and an MBA. From there, I went to work in a large firm, being a tax consultant. I hated it. I left. I went into private practice. And when I left and went into private practice, I got into a networking organization, which I eventually bought out.
Okay. Okay.
About 25 years.
Oh, wow.
I've been doing it a long time. And when I first started it, it made total sense to me that you can raise yourself up by helping the other people in the room. That's the whole notion of these networking groups. The people who are really successful in these groups, they buy into it. The people who struggle just in networking in general or in business in general, they're going from person to person trying to get what they can get and get what they can get
Quickly, short term.
Yep, they'll burn out a relationship. They got to keep moving on. Whereas people who are good at the networking, they build a network. They really service that network, and they don't have to be hunting people down because people are wanting to kind of get into their network. So it's a mindset. And back to your earlier question, how do we train people? You really can't. They have to kind of come to that epiphany themselves. And I've seen people do it. I've seen people who are. It's all about them. They're a hammer and everybody's a nail. Sell. And then when they kind of have that epiphany that if I really help other people, it'll work out better, and it does. And they're totally blessed by that.
I think I heard Gary Vaynerchuk say something like that earlier. I think that was this week, actually, in regards to his hiring process. That he's far less concerned with skills, and because there's certain things like what you're bringing about or what you're speaking about that you just simply can't teach. And so. It's really fascinating to hear you say that, especially as large as your organization is now, and with the different franchisees now. And I know you said they're across the United States, correct?
Well, we have pockets. I'm working on getting it all the way across the United States, but yes, it's growing organization.
So networking. I hear your backstory. But why is it important to you to be in? Because you could have chosen any field that you wanted. Even now, you could move into any direction that you wanted. Why is networking important to Frank? Like, what's going on with that?
That's a really good question. I met with my financial advisor a couple years ago, and he said, "Well, when do you want to retire?" And I thought about it, and I said, "You know what? I don't. I love what I do."
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I love what I do. Now my wife doesn't agree. She wants to retire, but she has a corporate job, right? But she has a corporate job. But I get to make a living, and I'm not a millionaire. I'm not. Some months are better than others, but I get to make a living. I get to support a family, helping other people and watching other people build up their businesses. And to me, that's really rewarding. I could practice law. I could have a good existence practicing law. And at the end of the day, I don't know that I know I don't, because I practiced for several years. I didn't have that feeling like, hey, I've done something. I've really helped somebody. And that's it's a nice feeling to have to be able to help people. So it's it's kind of a unique thing. And my franchisees kind of subscribe to that as well. They all have their other businesses too. It's kind of an add-on to what they're doing. But they love it from that standpoint that, I'm growing my businesses and this is wonderful. And, I can have a house and a life and vacations and that. But I know that on Christmas morning, somebody's having a great Christmas because partially what I've done to help them. And that's a rewarding feeling. And, it doesn't get old. So I just want to keep doing it as long as I can, and finding better ways to do it, and finding people who want to align themselves with me and kind of carry the message out there and help other people.